U29, Security Procedures in the Public Services, Task 2, which is P2 and M2 on your assignment brief criteria. The aim is for each learner to demonstrate and understand the criteria for Task 2. So to actually achieve it, what I want you to do is to produce a PowerPoint presentation that outlines the roles, the purpose, powers and responsibility of security workers in two contrasting public services organisations outlined in this presentation. So understand the range of security roles within the public services. We're going to start out with the organisations. The police and the military, so there's two main organisations there to research. Judiciary, health, HM, revenue and customs, so we're looking at the customs and excise, immigration, we're looking at drugs, smuggling, etc. Maritime and Coast Guard Agency, that's going to tie in probably with the customs, with the drugs, so they'll probably work and coordinate together. Local government, again, that's going to probably work in conjunction with the police. Right. Maritime, you're going to be looking at commercial shipping. You've probably heard about the piracy, Somalia. Well, they've got private security companies now that go in there and protect these ships from the pirates, working again in tandem with the armed forces. Quality and skills. So, if you was in the class, small groups, make a list of the types of personal qualities and skills required. So, just take a moment just to think about some of the skills that you might need to carry out these jobs. Whether it's the police, whether it's the armed forces, the military police, the private security industry. A lot of the skills and qualities will overlap, and they're going to be generic to all these public services. 3. Courteousness, be alert and tactful. Okay, so if you're customer serving, you're dealing with the public, then courtesy costs nothing. Whether you're alert, always be looking around for maybe incidents that may or may not occur, or potential hazards, and being tactful. Okay, so diplomacy skills, interpersonal skills when dealing with the public. Cooperative. Cooperative might be working under orders, so you're going to cooperate with your superiors or working with other agencies. Local government and police will have to cooperate. Maritime, private security and the Navy, we're going to have to cooperate. Honest and approachable. Okay, so these are key qualities that are going to be needed in public services in the armed forces. Trustworthy, hospitable and inquisitive. Okay, so again, security, you see something strange, maybe go down and inquire, investigate it further. Fair and know the powers. Okay, so the limits to your authority, for example, searching, whether you can search, males do not search females, for example. Fair play, again, irrespective of gender, race, colour, creed, everybody's treated the same. Okay, objectives of the public service security worker and their roles, purpose and responsibilities. So looking into that now, we're looking at protection. Protection of life, protection of property and premises, prevention of loss, prevention and detection of crime. Right, so these are now the area, these 4 areas is what you're going to have to look at when you actually cover the protection side of this task. So you must cover these sections here. So protection, close protection. That's going to be protection of people. Protection protection of premises, security guard, controlling the access in and out of maybe an industrial estate or maybe a building that has MOD significance. Queen's Guard, if you're looking for a more military application, their job is to look after the palaces and the Queen. So they're looking after premises and property. Again, police officer outside 10 Downing Street, looking after the Prime Minister and his guest and Obama coming out there. And in this particular case, the role of that police officer is more of a deterrent and more of a visual. Okay, so in himself, he's not going to be able to do a lot if there was a major attack. They've probably got more advanced and comprehensive security procedures in the building and around the building using cameras, technology, etc. So this is just a visual to the public to say, yes, we have 24/7 security. So that's the message that they're sending there. CCTV, again, that could be local council working together with police. This could be MI5 intelligence, monitoring, tracking somebody on the tubes or tracking somebody in town, using it as covert surveillance. And one of the things we can use in amongst all the technology, canine static guard, but they also use canines, dogs for bomb disposal, they use it for drugs, so they use it across the agency. So it's important to remember the different things used in security and how they're implemented and the different uses for dogs when you're looking at the different agencies. Maintaining security. How can we maintain it? Again, outline the main methods and equipment employed, patrolling of premises. Yeah, the type, mobile, foot patrol, frequency, duration, the pattern of control, i.e. night security, day security, perimeter and internal patrol as well. So again, we're looking at what sort of equipment they might be using. So police, they're going to be using radios, they're going to be using CCTV. Patrolling premises and the patterns, the frequency. You don't want to sort of do it every hour on the hour. You might have irregular patterns, so anybody watching can't say, well, they're always there at 1 o'clock, we'll wait until they go, we'll go in at 2 o'clock. So what type of patterns of patrol they're going to be using. The limit of their responsibility. Private security industry are not going to have the same limits of responsibility as the police, and the police again is going to be different to the armed forces or customs and excise. So it's important to investigate the limits of responsibility for the organisation that you're going to be talking about. Checking persons. We're looking at searching, conforming to health and safety regulations. So that can be a simple thing if you're searching a person wearing gloves, to bomb disposal. I would imagine health and safety regulations are quite stringent if you're working bomb disposal. Alright, so you've got the two extremes there. So it's important to investigate the two depending on the organisation that you're working from. The procedures, keeping records, locking up the premises, opening premises, that sort of thing. Again, this is probably linked to a lot of static guarding it's referring to, with the locking up and the opening of premises. Keeping records is paramount for legal reasons. You may have to go and give evidence in court based on that information that is recorded. It has to be accurate and correct and up to date. So, maintaining security, what you should be looking at, for example, at an airport, they have now a new X-ray. So you go through the X-ray and it basically takes a picture of you naked, but not literally naked. figuratively. Somebody is looking at a screen of somebody inside a box like this, and you go in and you stand this way, and they're monitoring for anything metallic. So you empty everything you have on you, your belt, your watch, wallets, anything like that, pens, you put into a tray, and then you walk into this sort of glass box. So you don't feel claustrophobic. I've been in one of these. Because it's glass, you know, you don't have that feeling of being claustrophobic. And then you stand there, and then someone's looking at an outline image, and anything metallic is going to pick up. Alright, so that's one way that the airports maintain security. Just one of their methods. A more basic one that you'd be more familiar with is the searching, and you can see the health and safety there with the gloves. Not quite sure that's a standard procedure, but thorough nonetheless. And across the world, in the airports again, we're looking at an AK-47. Might seem a bit extreme, but not really. In all airports in England, we've got armed police going around with their own submachine guns. Alright, ready for quick response as a deterrent, and also to match the threat that may happen at an airport. And again, Maritime Security Services, looking after cargo ships, passenger ships in areas that are known to have piracy. So again, that's an area that you might want to look at in a little bit more depth as well, and look at their role. And recently, Maritime Security now, they are allowed to have guns. Up until last year, they had to protect these ships without guns, and the pirates are rolling up in high-speed boats with submachine guns, 50 caliber machine guns, and all they had was probably a penknife. Hence, a lot of people were raided by the Somalians. However, now they're allowed to actually mount their own guns in their defence, and this is private security firms. So again, you know, consider those factors when you research the maritime. Okay, and also don't forget about the technological side, and we're looking at the satellites, etc. The use of GPS. So going over the unit again, just to recap, M2 is just purely a development of P2, and it requires you to, you know, outline, to take the outline that you produce for P2, develop this, explaining the main purposes, roles and responsibilities of security workers in two chosen service organisations. Alright, so it's just going back to the original slide where we're looking at for two out of aforementioned services. So organisations. And that's it. So good luck with that. And remember to go on OakLearn. On OakLearn there is a collection of links of roles and responsibilities of the armed services, and there's some job descriptions as well. And it's key to look at the job description, because on the job descriptions you will find what the roles and responsibilities are of the organisations that you're going to have to undertake.